welcome back to Ballet Institute's YouTube channel. So we've been talking a lot about the dissection of a tendu and the use of tendu as a concept versus a step. We've also talked about the arm shapes, and we've talked about the difference between taking a ballet class, or hundreds of ballet classes, versus really training your body. So today, what I'd like to do is a few simple exercises that you can do on your own at home, doesn't take a lot of space, to really train your body to move exactly the way you want it to. So the problem is, and I want to caution you, a lot of dancers hear these explanations and they go, I already know that. Yes, you already know the information, but the problem isn't in gaining the knowledge. Your teachers are all telling you wonderful things. The problem is in the execution, the patience and the determination to make sure that is exactly how you're doing it and not just how you know how to do it. Because remember, you're never going to go to an audition and they're never going to hand you a piece of paper and have you say, and you answer the questions right and you get the job. That's not how the dance world works. It's all based on what you actually do, not what you actually know, right? So when I talk about the foot swivel and how the heel leads and the toes pull back, everybody knows that. But the problem is in the actual application. So the exercises we're doing today, very simple, not easy, simple, so that you can really take the time to meticulously work through your legs and feet and make sure the knowledge that you have is actually being used. We're going to start with a demonstration from a student of mine named Layla. And I want to remind you of a couple of things as you're working through this exercise. It is a slow exercise and you're working really hard. So you have to be extra careful not to put the tension in your neck, right? And pulling your head back or looking down and crunching your neck. And same with the arms. Just because your arms are working and lengthening, they're not tensing, right? So you're not trying to squeeze those muscles in your arms. You're trying to expand the shapes with as little effort as possible, and same with the neck and head. Think of your head as a helium balloon and your neck is just that little string that's floating. So really make sure you're not gripping in your neck as you're trying to work that lower body. When that happens, it prevents you from using your core and your legs, which is what we should be using. So be careful of that and keep an eye on it. One more thing, when you are starting the tendu, sometimes I see people trying to point their foot. Don't try to point your foot before you've even extended your legs. Remember, tendu is that pressing down through the leg to get to the foot. So the foot shouldn't even be trying to point until it's far enough away that that's what has to happen. So watch out for those things. Same thing when you're closing. Make sure you don't keep you don't want to pull your leg up. You want to press the leg down. So that heel should actually return to the floor long before you get back to first position. So that's it. A couple of little things, and then you'll hear me correcting Layla. Hopefully that will correct you as well. Let's have some fun. Let's get started. 6 and a 7. Lifting those arches. 1. Left shoulder stays back. Push through the knee. Push through and pull the pinky toe back. 6. 7, push through the floor. Releve, pushing down through the knees, up through the heels. Good, tall hips, tall hips. Heels, careful, you want to come down both legs symmetrically. Now, hips are going to go all the way over to the ball of the foot so that we don't have weight in the supporting heel. Keep those leg bones opening and pushing through the knees. Push down. Heels forward, we're expanding. And pelvis up, rotate heels forward, Careful, we're a little early. And pinky toe, push through the knee, Good, keep the leg bones opening and pushing through the knee. And expand through the arms, expanding the chest and fingers. Hips up, push your booty through. Heels forward, thighs together. Be careful, don't do one leg, other leg, no fidgeting. 1. 2, push through the knee. 3, 4, push up through the hips. Heel forward. 7, don't lift that heel, push down. 2, heels forward, push your legs a little stronger. Expand your upper body, heels go forward. And head tall. Okay, so one of the things you want to be careful of is when you're on your way down from your releve, you don't want to do one foot, other foot. You really want to be gently rotating evenly between the legs so that you arrive at the same time with both legs. So let's try coming down one more time. So you're up, expand your arm. It looks like it's very heavy. very light. You want to treat your elbows like they have helium in them. So tie a little helium balloon to this elbow and a little helium balloon to your head, and keep the ribs pulling up through the spine, and even legs pulling, 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 pulling. That was better. We didn't quite get that left heel forward, but it was close. Okay, good. Okay, guys, we're gonna now turn to the other side. Let's go left side, right hand on the bar. First position, just giving you a little different angle with Layla here. 6 and a 7 and a 8. Push. Now you're gonna actually go up into that right hip and pull the pinky toes back. Pinky toe back, push through that leg, push. Good. And now expand, expand. Fingers, da-da. And connect the tops of your thighs, heels forward. That's better, almost. Good. Okay, and head tall, 2, pulling up. Make sure you're not sitting in this heel. Keep the hips over the ball of the foot. Push through the legs, push that heel back to the floor, long legs. Heels go forward, knees are stretched. Rotating, elbows lifted like helium balloons, and no tension in the neck. Good, pinky toes back, 1, cross the thighs. Push through the knee, push through that knee. Heels forward, toes back, lifting through the pelvis. Light arms, push releve, heels forward. Forward, stretch, stretch, stretch. Rotate, 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 even pinky toes. Try to keep that pinky toe joint on the floor. Push through, under, push under. And lift up, out of that heel. Yes, heels down, heels. You gotta get that heel down before you get to first. Heels forward, stretch, stretch, stretch. And chest open, head tall. Connect, and head turned. You lift your right cheek like you're waiting for the kiss that might not ever come. I'm just kidding. Your mom will kiss you. Okay, now let's take that same exercise and do it from 5th position. It's even more difficult from 5th position to get that foot to move correctly right at the beginning of the Tendu. So often you start your Tendu and the foot goes in the wrong direction. So just be very, very careful. Remember to move very slowly to avoid those negative movements. This time we're gonna check out a student of mine named Georgia. She's a remote student in Florida, and she's gonna be demonstrating on the right side from 5th position. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1, pushing through the knee. 2 and 3 and 4. Pull the toes back. And 6. And 7 and 8. Keep that 5th position nice and tight, guys. Cross it and pressing down through the knees. Control those heel bones. Don't let your heel bones come off the floor until you've gotten the rotation. Also, ladies, don't cross your 5th. We're just leaving the toes right where they need to be. And then slowly back down. See if you can control your rotation so that you can end up in the same 5th you started in. Ribs pull in and rotating left thigh just as much as right thigh. Heel bone forward, press down through the floor and into the foot. And 4, bringing it back, pinky toe on the ground, and lift the pelvis. 5th. Ooh, cross that 5th all the way and press through the knees. Get those heel bones, press through the knees. Remember not to sink in your lower back. Keep the back of your spine lifting through the neck. Grow through the arms and straight back down to 5th position. Rotate, 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 twisting your femur bones in opposite directions. Keep that leg straight. Pushing back. 1. And toes first. 2. And don't bend your knee. Lift your hips and lengthen your lower back. I see a little sinking in the lower back. And heel forward. Stretch through the knee and pushing through the heel back to 5th. Again, using your tush to push up through the pelvis, lengthening the spine through the neck. Expand your arms. Arms are also doing Tendu. And then slowly back down through the floor, heels forward, knees stretched. Pull those heel bones. Come on, guys. Pull those heel bones. Pinky toes on the ground. Good. No fidgeting. And last one, pressing through the floor, heel bone forward, and stand up in your hips. Use your butt to press into the hips as one leg is leaving you. And then closing back into 5th and 6 and 7 and closing 5th is hard. You cannot push back in your hips. Yeah, and no fidgeting. One more releve. Don't move that front foot. Remember, you're pressing through both legs evenly to feel the rotation of the femur bones. Pull the heel bones forward. And 6, heels forward, don't move those feet. 7, and finish, elbows out. Okay, let's take it from 5th position on the left side now. Demonstrating on the left side is my student named Andy. All right, so keeping those elbows floating, right? We've got the internal rotation of the upper arm, external rotation of the lower arm, continuation of the external rotation through the hand, and then of course she's using a pen to make sure her fingers stay extended but not tense. 5 and 6, and chest is open, head is up, eyes. 1 and 2. Keep the elbow floating back, and pinky toes go back. 6, pull it back, and 7, pull back, and 8. Good. Now, heels forward, and don't move your foot. We're going to keep the feet in the same place, actually. So we'll keep the balls of the feet right where they are, and 2, and 3, and elbows floating back, and 5, heels forward, 6, 7, beautiful, 8. Feel that swivel foot, heels forward, toes back, pinky toes on the ground. Again, making sure your hips are over the ball of the foot so that you're not resting in the heel. Closing 5th and rise. 5, 1 and 2, stretching. Heels forward and 4. Keep the elbows up. 5 and 6, strong legs, heels, pinky toe down. Good. And now, pinky toe back, cross it. 2, standing up, using your right booty to lift your right hip. And cross, and 6, open the thigh bones as you close. 5th, yes, open, and press. 1 and 2, expand your arms through the fingers, rotate the backs of the legs, and forward through the heels, forward, yes, and go. Foot, and 2, stand up through this hip, and 4, we call this the pancake, where your butt pushes yourself through the legs to make your body nice and flat, and 6, and 7, and 8, and heels, and 2, and 3, higher, and heels forward, use your arms and your head, allongé, and elbows floating, and stretch those legs. Excellent. Can you breathe? Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, this next exercise is to strengthen the arabesque, but remember, Tendu work is still in that arabesque. Many students ask me all the time, how can I make my arabesque higher? How can I make my arabesque better? There's lots of ways, right? You can get your little TheraBand out and you can stretch, and that's great. But I always feel like the best way to strengthen something is through direct application, meaning doing that exact thing and perfecting it. So taking the time to really work through those muscles and get stronger. So this exercise, some of my students like to call it the sausage exercise, because at the end of this, you might feel like the 2 sides of your back feel like sausages, but it's a really great way to strengthen that work in your arabesque and to find that foot that's so hard to point in arabesque. So you're going to be facing the bar. We're going to go, I believe we're starting from 5th position, and we're going to press through the Tendu 4 counts, 45 degrees, 4 counts, 90 degrees, 4 counts, and then you're going to press even longer and point even harder for 5 and 6. Begin lowering the leg by picking up your pelvis. Tendu 7, close 5th, 8. So the real challenge here is that we're using slow music, and I have to cut the music out and try to dub my voice back in because of copyright infringement with the music. But I want to remind you that as you're going through your music that you're playing, you should never stop feeling the pulling through the body, the opposition. So not just the legs, right? So your leg is going to be stretching and pointing and twisting and pulling, but your upper body also has to keep lifting through the spine, right? Which, so you use your abs and you pick up your spine. So as your leg is working more, so is your upper body, but not tension, right? It's the opposition. Constantly feeling that stretch through the whole body. Yes? So demonstrating this exercise is Georgia. She's a student of mine in Florida. So watch Georgia, do it along with us. Don't use music if you don't want to. You can just continue working each position as long as you want to if you feel you need more than 4 counts. All right, let's begin. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Press through the knee, swivel the foot, and 3 and 4. Finishing your tendu, and 5 and 6, 45 degrees. 7 and 8, slowing it down, sorry, and press arabesque, and 90, and 3, and 4, press even more, twist the femur bone open, press through the knee, go down into the ankle and all the way through the toes. Now lift your pelvis, and then the leg can come back into the 5th. Again, 1, lift your pelvis, don't let your lower back sink. 2, and 3, and point that foot, and press through the 45 degrees. Keep the left leg active. Your supporting leg still rotating. Press into the arabesque, 90, and 2. And what about that foot? Knee, foot, and press more. Try to open your thigh bones, twisting open, pressing the knee, pressing the toes. Don't sink in the lower back. Lift your pelvis and close 5th. And just finish. You can do this 4 times if you want, but we just did it twice. So we're actually going to go through to the left side now. And let's take it from the side angle. Georgia, I do think you can press through your knees and toes a lot more. So let's see if we can get that on the left. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Pulling up through that right hip using your glute and stomach. Press tendu. And 2. Don't look at the ground. 3 and 4. Press through the knee. Oop, don't lose turnout. As we lift off the ground, go slowly so you can feel if the leg bones are accidentally turning in. You want to keep opening the leg bones through the 90 degrees we go. 2, more rotation, open those leg bones. 3, don't let your arm creep up higher. Keep your shoulders engaged in the back. And press into your highest extension through the toes, Lift your pelvis, don't sink in that lower back. You have to correct the upper body as well. Closing 5th. Again, 1, to the tendu, 2. Think about opposition, and 4. And rotation to get you off the ground. Remember, we're not lifting the leg, we are extending it. And through the knee, to the toes, to the 90 degrees. Continue working on the supporting heel bone. It's lifted, you're rotating that right thigh. Let's press it higher and higher. Reach and lift your spine and return to 5th and finish. There you go, guys. There are 3 exercises that you can do to really refine your, we'll call it basic technique, right? But I do find that even my advanced dancers need to come back every so often and do a little slow, meticulous work to put their bodies back together. So it's not just for beginners, but it is excellent if you are a beginner, because then you are starting nice and fresh, and you can really be meticulous about how you use your body. Again, remember, it's not about the knowledge you know. Of course you know the heels forward, toes back. Of course you know rotation. Of course you know these things, but remember, it is about the execution. Are you actually making sure that's how your body is leaving the 5th position? I probably want to do another video pretty soon about the motion of picking the foot up, right? So the pickup of the foot is really tricky, making sure the foot moves in the right direction right at the beginning. We have a tendency, we just move quickly and the mistakes have already happened, and then we're having to correct those things in the extension or in the top of the movement, which it's too late, right? The idea is that you begin each movement correctly so that you don't have to fix it in the process. So anyway, slow, meticulous exercises. You have the one from first, then you do it from 5th, and then we have the nice arabesque exercise. So I hope that gets you started on your slow, meticulous training, and I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. Once you see, if you do it consistently, you will see that it really does change the way your quicker movements happen, right? So when you go back to your regular ballet classes, things are gonna start to look and feel a lot different, and in a good way. Thank you to the 3 dancers that helped us out on this video, Layla, Andy, and Georgia. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us this week on Ballet Institute's YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel and share it with all of your dance friends. Everyone should have access to more detailed training, and I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment, like the video. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'd be happy to help you. I love ballet, passionate about ballet. See you next time, guys, on Ballet Institute's YouTube channel.